Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Gaming Goons Podcast. My name is Luke, as always, joined here by my faithful co-hosts, Joey and Josh. We're back. It's episode 20, number 6. Woo! And Joey, woo! What do you think we're going to talk about today?
Wendy's.
I mean, you know. Well, Wendy's, of course. We always talk about Wendy's.
Well, it's either going to be Heinz Mustard, Wendy's, or... That's pretty much all I can think of.
Okay, well, Josh, what are we talking about today? It's something that's here. Hint, it's been in our bio since episode 1.
Is it Wendy's?
I mean, no, but
It's
Wendy's does
VR,
it's
baby.
VR, it's
Virtual reality.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
We're running it today because we have been
We've been
saying
very
we were going
bad
to do
about
it since
keeping
the
to our
very
promise.
first episode. So, yeah, we're finally doing VR, which is fun and exciting.
Indeed.
So we hope you guys enjoy.
All right, so how many hours have you guys logged on VR? You guys have an a Meta Quest 2, right?
Probably like a total of 15 or 20 hours.
15, 20 hours?
I was
Joey?
going to say, like, maybe like 10 for me.
Okay, I have like a combined total of 45 minutes in VR.
That's
Maybe
a lot.
an hour. Maybe. I don't know. But
Where do we want to start with VR?
let's start with what VR is. Josh, you want to take that?
Do you want me to give like an actual definition?
Yeah, here, if you want to look up a definition, I'll give kind of a quick crash course. So for anyone who doesn't know, VR, instead of you staring at a screen, and, you know, if you look to the right, you look away from the screen, like you just heard with my microphone, you look to the right with your VR headset, and the display moves with your head. So if you look to the right, you shift the perspective of the camera, not yourself. So instead of using something like an analog stick on a controller or a directional pad to move the camera, you use your actual head. And that's extended by, you know, usually people have controllers in their hands, one in each, kind of like Joy-Cons for those of you that are Nintendo fans. And those are basically your control network, and you point in different directions. It uses, I believe, IR, infrared, to
I have
track
no
where
idea.
stuff is.
I'm not going to lie.
Something
Infrared
like that.
would make the most sense, but it can be... There's a lot of IR communication in household. It'd be tough. I don't know what it is. I really don't know what it is.
I don't know. It's really interesting.
So the actual definition, which Luke actually, I mean, he did a great job.
Hey.
This is not from leg.com this time.
Yes!
So
Armed, though. It's probably from
it's
armed.com.
actually toe.com. So the definition is virtual reality, VR, is a computer-generated environment with scenes and objects that appear to be real, making the user feel they are immersed in their surroundings. This environment is perceived through a device known as a virtual reality headset or helmet. Or you could even use your phone. I know that you can put your phone in like a little sliding thing, and the lenses kind of...
Yeah.
That brings me to my first game I want to kind of briefly mention, because it's less of a game and more of a tech demo. Did you guys ever play Nintendo Labo
No.
for the Switch? Josh, did you? So basically what Nintendo Labo was do you guys know what it is?
No.
No clue.
Basically, Nintendo would sell cardboard kits that you would basically make origami out of in order to make certain like toolkits to help you play.
I think I've seen that.
And it was kind of a way of extending the old, you know how when you had Wii controllers, they would have like the baseball bat or the tennis racket? Actually, they're right over there. Josh, can you go grab one?
I will go grab them.
For anyone watching our video, you're about to get a heads-up display of the Wii remote golf club, tennis racket, and baseball bat attachments that would go on top of the Wiimote that add nothing but a visual effect. But so there's the tennis one. The next one is the baseball bat. You're on the wrong side. There you go. Yep, you can hit absolute dingers with that thing.
Oh, I bet.
And then you get the golf club. Shoot a nice. Oh, okay. It's fine. Shoot a nice 7 under par, which I will never do in my actual life ever. But
7 under par.
Yeah. So, you know, there's options like that before VR, and now in VR, like with Labo, it was kind of a more case-based analysis. They would, if you wanted to do, what was the one? Not Link's crossbow training, that was for the Wii. But they had a bunch of different Labo kits.
I know what you're talking
They had a
about.
bunch of different Labo kits for different games, and you know, it would be aesthetically pleasing, and you'd be able to be like, hey, I don't just see this through me, but like the people watching me just screw around in VR can also see that I'm holding like a shovel or whatever. So that was Labo. It was kind of an interesting deal because it was like a tech demo for VR type stuff, and it wasn't the best executed.
Wasn't fully fledged out.
I think it was.
When did it release?
I think it was the year that, I think it was 2017, the year that the Switch released. And they promised to expand upon it, but I don't know if they ever did.
Probably not.
And even if they did, it was more of it served to like highlight things like HD Rumble on the Joy-Cons, but besides the point, that's Nintendo Labo. If you are interested in that, go look it up, but it's not that great. So
what was your guys' first experiences with
VR?
A VR sort of headset or design?
I think it was your guys' headset.
Yeah.
No, that's a lie. My best friend, who we had on last episode, for episode 25, Ben had when we were, I think, juniors in high school, he got the Samsung, 19, and as, a promo they were doing, it came with, a slide-in VR headset that you could attach your phone to, and so I put that on and tried it once or twice. I think there was, a video of you going through a roller coaster. It was kind of interesting, but the problem with that is without controllers, you can't change. It's just you have to watch a video in VR.
Yeah.
And look to the left or the right. There's no sense of control, so you can't do anything after you start the video. That was my first experience anyway.
Yeah, I think for me, one of my buddies had the Quest 1 or whatever you want to call it, and I don't know what it was. It was one of those introductory games where it's it's downloaded to the device before you even get it. We were playing that. It was you interact with this robot and it flies around. You put a disc in and you pull a string to use a rocket, and you'd see the rocket fly up. It was neat. And right in that moment, I'm like, wow, yeah, this is definitely the future of gaming for sure.
Yeah.
I feel like it's just limited by batteries right now, because you can't really. It can hold a charge for a while, but not to the graphical standard what it needs to be.
Right.
Because the peripheral vision is a lot smaller than a normal field of view where you look at normally. It's really condensed. It's half of that.
Right.
So you have to look around a lot more than what you would really need to in real life.
I think the first time I was introduced to VR was my dad, Joey's dad as well, got both of us kind of what Luke had, or with your first experience, where you put your phone into a little docket or whatever. It's really kind of it's not very good as VR goes at all. All it does is you go on your phone and it splits the screen in half as two videos pretty much, but it's the same video.
Yeah.
Just on left and right, because of the lenses, it has to go through two screens instead of one. So it was very limited in what it could do. It was cool as a first interaction, but I remember getting the MetaQuest. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You guys have the
MetaQuest.
MetaQuest 2, right?
MetaQuest 2.
Oculus, whatever.
Putting that on for the first time and just sitting in the hub world, it's whoa. You see, there's different hub worlds where you can see space cars flying around in a futuristic city,
a
or,
cyberpunk-y
an
city,
desert city or something. It's really cool. And then the game that you were talking about, Joey, where you can pull the string off of that and play ping pong, and punch a punching bag and stuff. That was the coolest introduction.
Yeah,
because the intro to the game is cool, because you start as this little spark and it flies around your screen, and then it goes boom, and then it just explodes
it goes
into this majestical scenery. It's really cool.
Yeah, it feels like a totally different world when you get in there. For that one in particular, it flies around you and you see nothing. It's kind of like Squidward in the little white biome where he's by himself, running around alone. It's like that. But in this one, you look in any direction, it's endless.
Yeah.
The floor is the same tile repeated for miles, as far as the data can continue to go, basically, in that world.
Yeah.
It's neat. When you look around,
I would sit down in our living room while I had the Oculus on and just take in my surroundings and be this is the future.
I would like to play Minecraft in it.
I feel like Minecraft
VR.
would be
Tough.
It'd be tough to play.
It would be definitely tough.
Because it's not optimized for VR. I think
Not
if you want to have a
no.
great experience, you have to have a game that's optimized for VR.
Imagine doing the critical hits where you jump and then hit down.
You
gonna
actually
hit
jump
the
in real
creeper.
life.
At least when arrows go by when you're fighting skeletons, you can actually dodge them instead of just you just get hit.
Skeleton has aimbot in the
Yeah,
first.
you jump-
Imagine putting your shield up above your. That'd be sick.
That would be pretty cool.
Yeah. Until you move a little too far to the left and you smack your head into a wall.
Yeah. I don't know how much it really need to be optimized. at least controls-wise, the controls are really easy. It's not like playing Elden Ring or something like
No.
that. That would be cool too, but
It's
there's no
already
first
done.
person though.
It's
First
a mod
person?
for
Really?
VR, yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's cool.
Yeah. Could you imagine getting like destroyed by Margit?
Margit be, like,
his
huge.
stick just comes down as a vertical slash.
Or like,
I don't
I'm not
think
gonna say
about
anything. The Elden Beast.
Oh, geez. Anyway, so one of the interesting things about VR is the different levels of technology. If anyone has ever watched anime, you've probably heard of Sword Art Online. And effectively what that is, if you don't know, is about a video game that is full dive virtual reality, which means you're like, your mind space is transported into a digital server so that you can play a game like as an avatar as opposed to being yourself. And the plot of the show is that, you know, the creator of the game locks everybody in the game and says, if you die in the game, you die for real. What? Anyway. But that's kind of like the epitome of what people are striving for when it comes to, you know, VR.
Hopefully
I think that's
not
the
dying
end goal.
in the game.
Yeah,
Just the full
yeah.
dive, yeah.
No, I mean, obviously, if you're gonna jump into the game, you wanna full send it. So, you know, if you die in the game, you die for real. So,
Have you guys ever seen Ready Player One?
I have not. No.
That is one of my favorite movies. It's so cool. It takes like all these different genres of games and puts it into one movie. And the main character, I mean, everyone in the world puts on like a VR headset, and it's kind of like the show you're describing in a way. But the creator of this like this universe, this VR universe, dies, and he's like, there's an Easter egg in the VR universe, and whoever gets it gets all my wealth.
That's cool.
So everyone's like fighting after trying to find their wealth, and they're doing like these Easter eggs, and there's all these cool callbacks from video games. There's like an Overwatch character, Halo, Master Chief's in it, the Doom guy's in it. It's like all these different avatars. You guys should watch that.
That's cool.
And
I
anyone
see.
listening, I think you should watch that because it is very good, very very good.
Have you seen SAO?
I haven't, but
You
I
should
have
watch
heard
that.
you talk about it a lot.
Just watch season 1.
Just watch
honestly.
One.
Not even all of season 1. Just watch episode 1 through 14.
Watch it all. Watch all of season 1.
Don't. It gets
How
bad.
long is season 1?
It does get
Just
kinda
watch
bad.
the first 14
14
episodes.
episodes.
After episode 14, it just downhill. I've seen
Yeah.
season 1 and 2. It's
Season two is-
2's fine.
It's okay.
It's acceptable.
Season 3 is garbage.
I haven't even watched season 3. I don't want to.
Have you ever held like a paper ball in your hand, like it was like soaking gasoline, you like lit on fire and threw it? That's like season 3, and then you throw it in a dumpster. It's like a dumpster fire. Bad, horrible. Woo! Season 1 is good.
Season 1's all right.
So-
It's good up to 14. But besides the point,
Yeah.
full dive VR is what we're going for. The closest thing we have to that right now is VR, but it's leveled up by 2 things. There's VR headsets, which are readily accessible to the public. Then the next step up is some haptic feedback, which for anyone who doesn't know what haptic feedback is, it's when you know, if you have a glove on, haptic feedback is when you try to curl your fingers, it'll give you resistance based on how much weight you're trying to like close the grip on in the game, and it scales that to resistance bands that are tied to your glove.
I think haptic feedback are vibrations, like controllers or on your phone.
That's what I was gonna say.
Is it just that, or is it encompassed?
I'm pretty
in
sure it's
the-
just that.
Hang on, let me double check this.
But yeah,
I-
basically what you're getting onto though is the more advanced the VR station is, the only thing we can put money into right now is like hardware, because we don't have any like consciousness that separates you from the device
Yeah.
at all. There's treadmills, there's fake guns.
My most recent experience, like I did this in Cleveland about a month ago with my sister and with my brother-in-law, and it was so cool. They gave us like the headset. They gave us this chess piece where if you shoot each other, you can feel vibrations, which was really, really cool. And they would put like a backpack on, which was kind of like your computer in a sense. And
Yeah.
then they gave you a gun. You could choose what gun you want. And our gameplay was 30 minutes, and we did like this zombie haunted house. It kind of felt like a Resident Evil kind of vibe. But we were like, it felt, it was the most real experience I've had for VR that I could have gotten at the time. There was like rats running below you, and you'd like move out of the way and shoot them, and it was so cool. And then there'd be like these 4 pillars, and the special zombie type would be at the very top and shoot his tongue down at your gun so you can't use it, so a teammate would have to shoot that zombie so like it would release itself, and then there'd be like a big zombie, and it was super cool.
Was this augmented reality, virtual reality, or mixed reality?
It was virtual reality.
So you weren't physically moving. You were using controller buttons to move?
Well, we could actually move too.
You could?
Yeah, we could move.
So like
without the controllers.
Okay, so you could like stand on the left side of the room, get targeted, and then move to the right side of the room?
Yeah.
Okay. So I think that falls under the category of mixed reality, which we'll get into in a sec, but I want to clear up the haptic feedback.
Sure.
So haptic feedback is classified as, according to ultraleap.com, haptic feedback is basically just it simulates the sense of touch. Not only can you touch a computer or other device, but the computer can touch you back effectively. So it can feel like anything, but it's most commonly used in like vibrations and motors that are in controllers.
So you can feel like that resistance when you're pressing the controller or whatever. Like,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So you guys were both right.
to some degree.
I haven't
yeah.
seen that kind of stuff. That's cool.
Yeah, there's a real interesting project. I'll have to look for it. But I did a speech back my freshman year of college where I was talking about the Halo Sport headset, and basically what that does is it uses neuropriming to get the neurons in your brain firing, and that enables you to get a quicker muscle memory of new skills and activities. So say you're like trying to learn how to shoot a basketball better. Well, if you warm up for 15 minutes with this headset, it'll get your brain active to try and memorize the exact amount of force, power, and like lift you need on a shot to get it to go in more consistently.
Yeah,
and it helps you learn. It helps you learn things more quickly and effectively.
I've read, and Josh, you might even get into some stuff like this, but
I already have.
Two things. I hear that, let's say person A wants to practice how to golf.
Yeah.
And person B wants to practice golf. But person A practices their strokes in their mind. They think about like how they're going to shoot it, how they're going to keep their hips. But person B doesn't think about it at all. Person A will perform better because they've gone through the motions in their mind, even though they haven't done it in real life yet. But when they do it, they get a better opportunity too. But this kind of goes into what you said. I don't really know if this is augmented reality or not, but I think this is pretty cool when it comes to prosthetic limbs.
Yeah.
For people that have, they lost a limb or something like that. Let's just say an arm.
Yeah.
They may put a prosthesis on and like have some type of neural attachment so they have that sensation of touch and everything still.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. So like maybe they touch the robotic arm like right here and then you can actually feel that like through your mind.
So
that's kind of like, I don't even know where I was going with that really, but I've just have seen a lot of augments like that recently.
I don't know if you can actually like feel it. I don't think they're there yet. Oh, thank you very much.
Through Phantom Limb possibly.
Phantom Limb, there's this thing where there's a study where if you get your left arm and you cover up your right arm and you put like a mirror in between.
Oh, I've seen this.
And the researcher will like touch your left palm and you'll be able to feel it on your right because it's like kind of linked. Well, like, so if you're looking at the mirror and they touch your left, is it the...
I didn't even think there was even a mirror.
No, there's a mirror.
It's a mental thing. Whether or not the limb is physically there, your brain will still like have a message receptor go out to what it can of your arm, and you'll get that feeling, and it'll feel extended further than it actually is.
Yeah, I just don't remember if it was like if you cover up your left arm and you put the mirror there, and then you look at the left arm, but it's
you
actually
have to look
the right
at the
arm
mirror.
Reflection. Yeah, that's
sure
what I'm saying.
But you would feel it in your right arm though.
No,
that's not there.
I think I'm thinking about two different things because like sometimes there's one where people put their hand down and then they put something in between and then like they fake they're doing it to both hands even though there's only one hand, and then the last second they'll like pretend to do it and they'll like pull it away and then they'll smack it down with the hammer, and even though it didn't hit their real hand at all, they get like their pain receptors are like still firing.
I know what it is.
You know what I mean?
They put their hand in this glove and it's a rubber arm. That's what it is.
Okay, we might be talking about two different things then.
They'll smack the rubber arm, but you'll still feel it because it looks like it's a part and attached to your arm. So it's like, whoa, why'd you do that? But I'm not actually feeling that, but I think I do.
Yeah,
it's actually really neat.
It's neat.
There's a lot of cool studies done with those kind of things. But
anyway,
getting out of the psychology and neuroscience of that, let's go back more to the practical.
I think you'll start to see some of that research like a lot more being pumped into like cybernetics and augmented reality and virtual reality in like the next 50 years. Because
Yeah.
I feel like they are kind of related to each other. But there's a lot of different VR headsets though. There used to be, I think it was called the
Meta.
HTC Vive, which is still a thing. I think it's more upgraded now. Then there was the Oculus 2. Now it's called the Meta Quest 2 or whatever it's called.
There's also, they have the Apple visor, right?
That's coming out.
Yeah, that is
completely-
augmented reality.
That's AR?
aug-
Okay.
Yeah.
But also that's $3,500.
Yeah, that's a lot. That I view augmented reality as like, okay, let's say you go on Amazon and you're picking out a piece of furniture and they say, hey, you want to see how this looks in your room, and you pull up your camera and press a button, you can see how the couch looks.
Yeah.
That's how I view augmented reality.
Augmented reality, just the best example for
Probably a lot
anyone
of
who doesn't know
examples,
what
really.
AR is Pokemon Go.
Yeah.
When you turn Pokemon Go on, you get two options. You can either just have like a stock background where you throw a Pokeball at the Pokemon, or you can have it in augmented reality where you have to face your camera towards the Snorlax, and it's like Snorlax is just sitting on your bed over there, and you gotta throw the Pokeball and try and catch
It's a
it.
good spot for Snorlax to be just sleeping on the bed.
Yeah, why not?
I think PlayStation also has a VR headset.
PlayStation VR Move, right? Because they did
I don't
the
think it's
original
Move.
Move.
I think it's just PlayStation VR now.
Okay, because I know PlayStation 3 had the Move like thing. It was like the Kinect ripoff.
Oh, yeah.
And then PS4 on has VR. But
Right.
do they work in conjunction with each other now, or is it just this headset?
I think there are like Joy-Con-ish controllers. I don't think it's just a headset, but trying to move it into more gaming because we are the gaming goons.
Indeed.
So how is this revolutionary for gaming in itself?
It's pretty cool, like conception for the picture wise. It's really cool, like seeing a field of view of things. You can actually just like look around. Like, let's just say you're playing Modern Warfare 2 and all gillied up in VR. That'd be awesome.
That would be really cool.
That would be like crawling through the ground.
Yeah.
Like, imagine if you weren't restricted by space or time.
Oh, jeez.
Because usually, like when you play VR, you're restricted to like small areas or like a room.
Right.
But I never really thought about playing the Oculus and like just going outside and like just making everything your boundary. But anyway, I think looking around the picture is really cool. I think they need to work on the HD quality of it though, and
That's
the rendering. There needs to be like another computer hooked into it for it to really work good. The Quest 2 is like really restricted when it comes to what you can do unless you plug it into your PC. Then you can start having some power connected to it.
Well, there's a Quest 3 now, isn't there?
I don't
They just
know.
released a new one.
Oh,
Three
yeah.
or the Pro?
Oh, it might be the Pro, but I mean,
I'll
I
look
meant
it
like
up.
another
Yeah.
step forward.
Still, like, it's so restricted because if you just put an HDMI cable and connect it to your headset, or actually it's like USB Type C or whatever, that data transfer is crazier than any hardware you could put in the headset.
Right.
Because you can't put a huge graphics card in the.
I
in
just
the
think
thing.
about like when people in the 80s were playing arcade games. They're like, wow, these graphics are so good. It feels like I'm in the game. And now we can
Yeah.
actually say like, wow,
I'm
we
in the
are
game.
in the game.
Yeah.
So I think that's like a massive step forward. Do I think I
It feels primitive still, in my
I
opinion.
don't think
It
it'll
does.
go very far with gaming. I think
I think it
Okay.
will to some extent. It's gonna be cool for the medical field. Because it's really cool. There was this
Surgeon
thing in.
simulator.
Have you ever, at Kent State in our bottom library, there's like a little augmented reality thing or whatever where you could see every piece of the anatomy of the human body. You could like take pieces out and spin the body and flip it. It was the
Like
coolest
some
thing
Tony
ever.
Stark type stuff.
Basically, yeah. It was like this. It was cool. It was like a hologram of a body you could just like move around and study and like conceptually
That's really
see it.
neat.
Like
Yeah.
not just a skeleton in a science lab of actual physical parts or something. For like research purposes, it's going to be awesome.
I think it'll be very restrictive for gaming, and I think they'll reach a point where they realize they can't go any further with it, and we'll stick to our PC and console kind of tradition. I think VR will reach a point where it just can't go any further for video games, because we're already reaching a point for consoles and PC where our games are getting so big. How would you be able to contain that to a VR headset first without even having a PC or console and just having the Oculus as itself?
Cloud streaming.
I was going to say, I think
Cloud streaming already sucks though.
right now,
Yes,
right now.
but it
no,
sucks
actually
right
not really.
now.
Not really.
It's pretty bad right now. It's
if
pretty
you
bad.
have Bun's internet,
Yeah, if you
But
have
have you ever been to, like,
you
a
have
cyber
solid
cafe?
server.
Okay, but
that's usually what they do.
the casual person isn't going to have a cyber cafe.
I know, but I mean, they have them at universities now too.
They do.
And in Columbus, there's
And
one.
universities have tons of money. I'm talking
Well,
like the
yeah.
average gamer.
Well,
average
some
person.
people can't even. No offense to people out there, but some people don't have the money to pitch in to buy an Xbox either.
Yeah, but think about
That's
how
about
many
the-
more people have an Xbox compared to all these high-end tech things.
Yeah,
All right.
I don't think the VR headset is like super probable to play with. Like, I would rather invest in an Xbox than a Quest
Right.
2 because
agree.
they're about the same price now.
Yeah.
Well, Xbox is actually pretty cheap now too.
Xboxes are $550.
MetaQuest
and
2 is 300.
MetaQuest is $300. Yeah.
I wasn't thinking of the X. I was thinking of like the S. That was like 200.
I
bucks.
don't
But
even think about the
it's
S.
negligible because
So-
it's so buns. But
Guys, here's what I think is going to happen with VR. I think there's 2 phases that we are going to get to in the future. I don't know what timeline it's going to be on, but I do think this is where we're going to end up. VR is going to follow the same pattern as video games did during their inception. So video games, before we had home consoles, before TVs and everything were common in each household, people would go to arcades. I think there are going to be VR arcades that is going to be the best way to experience VR. Because right now we have like a really, really downscaled version of the capabilities of VR headsets. In order to get the higher capabilities, what's going to happen is people are going to start creating, arcades or spaces where people can go to use VR, have it in good quality, and do it with multiple people.
Which they already are doing.
Which they have already. But it's going to continue to level up, and that's gonna increase its market share, and that's going to be the dominating force for pretty much a while of everything related to VR is going to take place in that space. Once that gets old enough and things continue to progress, those older rigs are going to be more cost effective. They're going to be easier for people to get their hands on, and then we will regress and move back into the home market. Those are the 2 phases I think we're going to hit.
Yeah.
Especially because I don't know if you guys have seen the videos, but there are it's like a pod you stand on, and you have like something around your waist, and you put like slippers on top of your shoes.
Oh,
and
yeah.
you can like run around, and
so
you
it's like
can,
a treadmill kind of looking thing. It's
Kind
not
of,
really
yeah.
a treadmill, but like it can
but,
feel
it's
like
a
where you
zero
are.
friction floor that you can
That's cool.
run on, and you have 360 degree. You can go left, right, center. You can't quite obviously crouch or go prone or anything, but you have that, and you have a VR headset on, and you can hold like a live like mimicry of an assault rifle or something, or maybe a camera if you're playing like an Outlast in VR.
That'd be neat.
And that's something that exists right now. So that once that becomes a little bit more accessible to like larger arcade spaces, I think we're going to see more people interested in going out to the arcade to get the best gaming experience, because that's going to be outside of the price range of any reasonable like non-super rich person.
That's
As
Yeah.
we move forward in time,
True.
say, I don't know, ballpark 30 years from now, we might start to see those creep more into homes, and that might be more affordable for people. But that's what I think the timeline of VR is going to be.
I don't think there will ever. I think I do agree with you to some extent, but I don't think there will ever be a time where you will be able to roam freely in the game without being constricted in some sense. So I think you will always need a treadmill-like thing.
Yeah.
There will never be a time where you can just like put on your goggles and you can roam freely while standing still.
Until we unlock the secret of like the human subconscious and figure out how to like get our brain and our consciousness into a virtual server, that's the max that we can do.
Which
Is have the treadmill thing.
Will very
It's gonna take a long time.
unlikely happen.
I
Brain,
don't,
it's gonna take forever.
I
Not
don't
my
think
lifetime.
it'll-
I'll tell you that.
I don't think
I
it'll
don't
ever
think
happen.
so. Yeah.
I think it'll happen like within maybe like hundreds of years, probably.
I don't
like
even
Elon,
think that.
the brain is like, dude, the brain is so complex. I don't know. I don't know anything
really
about it.
is.
I think
But-
by then it'll be the end of times. I think when you can replicate the subconscious and put it into something else, it's game over.
it's the ultimate deepfake.
So then we
Yeah.
can just build our own universes to farm research for us. But are we in a simulation?
We might be.
We're getting.
Besides the
Okay.
point, that's the so distant future of this,
That is the
and
very
you know,
distant
Yeah.
we're taking the steps towards that future.
I mean,
it seems like we want to be in a simulation.
Gamers always
honestly.
get the best of the best of Silicon Valley technology. I mean, we
Yeah.
get the best graphics cards right when we get the best technology immediately
yeah.
every single year.
Well, I think because the next phase of like technology in general is going to be quantum computers. They already have stuff that I don't know too much about it. It's a really complex field, but from what I've heard, the stuff they can do with a quantum computer is like take 1 million computers and have all their processing power, and it's still not even like a tenth of what one quantum computer can do.
Yeah, I think the quantum computer revolves around the hexadecimal system, but for the...
See, he's already speaking a foreign language.
So it's like all, instead of ones and zeros, it's all numbers and all letters.
Oh.
So that's like, you know, when you are looking at a huge wheel that has all the different colors and that you could literally possibly imagine.
Yeah, it's a color wheel, yeah.
But when you hit one, it's like, oh, this one's X1067 EFG, like that's hexadecimal code.
Okay.
Oh. Well, not. Yeah, I guess you call it code or a number or a pinpoint or location. But there's not an infinite amount of colors. It's just from this to that, but all of them in between.
It's a spectrum.
So they're like all labeled. But I don't know. I don't know how quantum computing works. Quite honestly, I didn't really get into that research.
I don't know, Josh. You've watched Ant-Man. What do you think?
I mean. Ant-Man, you just get small and big. I don't really know much about it.
It's information just traveling at the speed of light. Super low level knowledge for me is what I understand.
It's wild.
Because right now we use electricity.
It'd be cool if there's a VR game where it's like a horror game, and every time you get scared, well, actually.
What, you like hook yourself up to an EKG
I think
machine?
There's stuff like that. You can put a heart rate monitor on your wrist.
As your heart beats faster, the game gets more difficult.
Yeah, have you heard of Visage, the game?
I think I know what you're talking about, but I don't.
So it's a horror game that you go through this house. It's a horror game, and every time you're like insanity will grow, and the higher your insanity grows, the more you see, the more likely you are to die.
That's how Phasma works too. Actually,
it would be cool
Phasmophobia?
if for VR. You go into there, and every time you get scared, your like blood pressure goes up and your heartbeat goes, and your insanity in the game will go up depending on your physiological basis in real life.
Yeah.
So that you're gonna you're close to dying in VR based off of your physiological reactions to the horror in the game.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
Phasmophobia in VR is like really scary.
I bet.
Is it?
I've played it like once.
Played base games, so
it's actually they just had a big update actually a few days ago. They updated all the equipment. Phasmophobia is a really good game. That's going to be a really promising VR game.
Good.
That'd be fun to play at the VR cafe you went to, Josh.
That would be pretty fun.
So were you able to pick the shotgun?
You can pick a shotgun, but I picked like an SMG.
I feel like the shotgun would be really overpowered in a room like that.
The person that had the shotgun had like 80% accuracy. I had the highest. I was the MVP though with like 60% accuracy and like 500 kills, but he only had like 300. So the SMG and the assault rifle were better in our cases, but like if you want to be accurate, pick the shotgun because more of that is gonna reach different enemies. So.
And you stayed. So obviously you stayed in one space physically, but virtually, did you stay in one place?
I moved around. And
like, are there different rooms?
No, there's only one room.
So you couldn't walk, like the group kind of walked through a door and like go into a foyer,
no. That's how I thought it was gonna be, but well, that's not. I thought the room would kind of like switch virtually, but it didn't. So we stayed in like a given rectangle space, and you can move around in it because when people went down in the game, their virtual avatar would turn like a blue hologram or something, and you'd have to go over to them and you'd have to like touch them in real life, and it would start rezzing them.
Oh, that's
like you had to touch them in real life. You couldn't like hold near them.
You couldn't be like right next to them. You had to like actually touch them.
Wow.
And it would recognize that, and you'd have to hold because I was like holding with my left hand, had my SMG in my right, and I was like shooting with my right with one hand. I'd have to reload it. It was so cool. If we could go there, you guys would have.
We'd have a lot.
We would have a really high score.
We would.
I was told it was pretty pricey, but it was so much fun.
Probably
so cool.
Maybe we'll just have to scout for different areas and deals and stuff. Yeah,
we'll look into it.
The Goons will look into it.
I'll definitely show you the video, Luke, because
definitely.
It came with like there's cameras in the actual space that you could record, and it shows you what we were doing. So it's cool.
Now.
You'll like.
Maybe I can upload it to the next YouTube video.
Maybe.
Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Crazy.
Yeah, we'll see how crazy I might get.
Yeah.
Let's move. I want to move back towards what is currently available in home for people. So, what games have you put the most time into on your MetaQuest?
I think the most well-known game is probably Beat Saber,
without a doubt,
and that's probably cumulatively between my whole family. We've put the most time into Beat Saber.
Beat Saber is really fun. It's for anyone who doesn't know what Beat Saber is. Joey, you want to give a quick rundown?
Basically, you have two. It's like DDR with lightsabers. You have
Yeah.
you have a red one and a blue one, and which hand I don't really remember. And there's actually different colors sometimes too. And then these tiles or blocks come at you, and it has an arrow on it, so you know which way to swipe that lightsaber, I guess we could call it.
Yeah.
But with two hands at the same time, sometimes you have to dodge different panels that come through. Or you have to duck, or I don't think you have to jump. But and then there's difficulties. The easier it is, it's like it's straight up like DDR with lightsabers.
Yeah.
It's really cool. That's the best way to or like Guitar Hero.
Beat
Josh, what's your-
Saber is definitely the most I played. I have gone pretty crazy at Beat Saber. I'll play on like Expert Plus on Crab Raven. It's like
Crab
1,000
Rave?
million blocks a second.
Yeah.
It starts to get hard, but the cool thing about that is the more you play it, the more you understand its rhythm. It's literally like any other game. I could compare it to Elden Ring. You understand its attacks, but this one's like you understand the pattern, so you remember which way to go.
Yeah,
So
it's like
it's really fun.
it's like an aerobic workout for like the same thing as like Clone Hero.
It really is. Yeah, and there's even like a little calorie bar at the top that tracks how many calories you've
Nice.
done
Okay,
based off
cool.
of what you do. But another game that I played that we got was a rock climbing game, which was pretty fun.
You
Sounds
had me
hard.
try that one. That one's
yeah,
cool.
It's cool because like once you grab onto one rock, you have your other one. You have to like put it in a powder bag, a chalk bag,
yeah.
and you have to like make sure your hand that's on the rock doesn't get tired with like this meter that drains out.
Yeah.
So you have to like shake your hand in real life to get it to actually become untired.
I mean, I don't
It's
know how
really
much
cool.
I don't know how much you two have done rock climbing before. But
Here and there, we have
that
rock
is-
wall.
It's pretty accurate.
It is.
Because,
It's
you know,
cool.
I've been on a rock wall before, and, you know, you take your hand off, you're like, I need to shake this out for like 20 seconds because it's so tense.
It's
Because
insane.
you've just been holding your whole body weight up.
Yeah.
There's another
oh
one
man,
where
it's so wild.
you could fish, and I didn't.
I
play
was
too
gonna
much-
say that.
I didn't play too much of that one, but it was a little finicky and gimmicky.
Yeah, that one's a little. It's kind of weird when you use
I'll
the
just
Joy-Con to
take
keep
my
smacking the
rod.
controllers against
I'll
itself.
just take my rod and go out and actually fish at that point. I'm
Yeah.
good on
There's
that one.
another one. Some gun game. You run around an arena and shoot other people. Kind of like the figure of like a Roblox
You were
character.
playing that one.
Didn't Sly have you buy that?
It was free.
Was it?
Yeah.
I thought that was one that Sly and Chris had you
That
get.
was
I don't know.
what was that
Anyway.
called? Okay, there's actually I don't know what that one's called, but there's a game out right now called Ghosts of Tabor. Have you guys heard of that?
No.
Ghosts
It's
of
kind of like
Tabor.
Escape from Tarkov, but in VR. So Jamal's been playing it. Luke, I think you know Jamal. He's been
Yeah.
joining the. He plays on his Oculus. He plays a lot of VR.
Huh.
Jamal,
him on.
I don't. He doesn't live anywhere near around the area.
Dang.
Hey, well,
He plays a lot of VR. He usually keeps me up to date on it, actually.
Yeah.
He says Ghost of Tabor is pretty cool. Like I said, it's like an extraction shooter in VR. You can squad up with other people. I don't really know what mechanics are in the game, but I think there's some VR games out there that are getting better. I think that's one of them.
it did hit. Ghosts of Tabor hit $3 million in revenue.
Wow.
I was watching gameplay of
Impressive.
Resident Evil 7 Biohazard in VR.
Yeah.
And that game's that game's one of the games that scared me a lot, and I couldn't even imagine it in VR.
Is that the one that just got remade recently?
No, that's Resident Evil 4.
That one is the top grossing game now for Resident Evil games, I think.
Yeah.
Village?
I mean, what they like remastered it how many times now?
Village or
Twice.
Biohazard?
Only once,
Which
actually.
one?
Resident Evil 4. It actually
Four.
it
Oh,
first
yeah.
released in
2004 on the
2000s.
GameCube.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, because it was I think the only one on GameCube that was from Resident Evil. And
I think there
it
might
was
have been one more.
maybe.
Oh
I'm not sure.
no! You might be right actually, because I might be thinking PlayStation. I'm not really too sure, but yeah, it is phenomenal. I still need to
Yeah.
play it. Village is really good too. I recommend Resident Evil games. They're very fun.
I think for the haunted housing, like haunted houses and scary games, that's the best way to play games, I think, in VR, like when you play those kind of games. But a good idea for haunted houses, like let's just say, what's the one down the road from here? Factory Terror.
Yeah.
What they should do is, like how Google will map their streets, they should have somebody like walk through their thing,
And
and
place
then
AR jump
people could
scares?
buy it to like walk through their thing
Ooh.
in VR. It'd be
That would
kind of hard,
That would
but
be cool. VR, in that sense, I think it's still going to be 100% scarier in real
Yeah,
life.
I agree.
well, yeah, but
So,
for the people that
For
couldn't
people
do
that
it,
can't actually
Yeah.
go to that, yeah, that definitely would be.
I mean, haunting what?
haunting
Haunted
houses?
houses?
Hunting hunting ghosts in real life is scarier than
Oh.
Phasmophobia, but Phasmophobia is scary because there's actually ghosts that are trying to kill you.
Yeah.
So like they'll pop up in like a little. You guys need to play it. It's really fun. I'll have to have you hop on and try it, Josh. Luke, you need to snag it.
Yep.
Maybe.
Oh boy.
Time to buy another game.
I think when it comes to VR, I think my biggest thought is I feel like the best games to experience in VR are either the simplistic games like the rock climbing one. Like it's not that deep. Like you don't have to worry about all the game mechanics other than, you have a stamina meter. You have a stamina meter for each hand. You got to worry about routing yourself, and that's something that you have to have spatial awareness for. Those as well as horror games. And outside of that, you think about like getting to a competitive market. You're not going to hit that with VR. You're never going to get to a point where like Rocket League is going to be in VR.
Could you imagine like being a spectator in VR?
I would want to be.
That would be really. I'd be like, yeah, let's
This is
go.
Rocket League.
Have you seen memes on that?
What I want is I want to be able to have someone play Rocket League and I am in their passengers.
Yeah, what if you're in
And
the car?
I'm just getting like a first person view.
Dude, you get whiplashed every
Hey,
time.
like,
You'll be like,
Dude, I would probably get motion. You'd probably get motion sickness so quickly.
probably.
Okay, so you know how pilots have to train in like an augmented reality station? Mostly the military,
Flight
for fighter
simulator.
jets and stuff. Yeah, like flight simulator. What if, to reduce the amount of deaths there are per year for Everest, people have to go through training in VR of the whole mountain and go back down? Wouldn't that be interesting?
I think there is training like that.
I think
actually.
I don't know if there is or not. I know that you're like, obviously it's not like a novice climber anyway, but like seeing some
Yeah.
stuff when you go up on the way there won't
Wait,
be as
for-
shocking when you go for your first
Well,
time.
For Everest?
For Everest, yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant for
Or
flying a plane.
or any mountain. Well,
Oh.
for the plane they already have it.
Yeah, that's what I thought you
Yeah,
were
they
saying.
have
No.
that. already.
Everest, I don't think that's even possible because it's changing every single day, every week.
Yeah, but
it's
at least
right.
the land spots and the paths people would go are at least kind of similar. Because there's like landmarks
Yeah.
people know, like, oh, we're at this
I mean, if you're
person
climbing
here.
Everest,
We're
I
at
don't think
Death
you want to
Peak.
have that. I think you want to enjoy it for the first time.
If I were ever going to do Everest, I would want to know every step.
I don't want to go in blind if I'm.
You can't
climbing
get
a
distracted.
I think that's the whole point of going up Everest is that you're risking your
pass,
life.
dude.
to do
Nah,
it.
I'm good.
If you're in trouble, no one can help you. You
That's the
literally
point.
just die.
Yeah, that's why nobody does it.
No, people do.
A lot of people actually
do it.
die
A lot of
per
people do,
year.
but It's very
All right.
small.
A lot of people
I need to
climb
look it up.
Everest.
I need to look up
To
how
the
many-
very peak, though,
I don't know. I doubt
it's
it.
probably very
Oh,
small.
I would say it's exponentially low. Like,
and I'm assuming if they're doing that, they're doing it for the thrill, for the chase. They're doing it for that dopamine rush.
yeah, they're probably
They
trying
don't
to
want it.
scratch
They
it
don't
off the
wanna see
bucket
it.
list too.
Yeah.
You know,
Luke's pulling up the
Yeah.
stats.
pull up the fight with the grizzly bear.
305 people have died attempting Everest on all routes. 6,098 different people have summited Everest for a total of 10,656 summits. So some people have gone back and done it multiple times.
That's pretty cool. They're
Wow.
crazy.
But
That's
because they
wild,
did
man.
that, if one of them takes a camera,
Oh, no shot.
all we have to do is just do it in VR, and you don't have to risk your life to do it anymore.
Bro, there's no way I would climb Everest. Like,
do.
I'm not a risk taker. I'm not about it. I know driving
All right,
every single
no,
day is a
that's it.
risk, but
I would
That's
do
it, Joey. We're going skydiving. That's gonna happen.
On my bucket
why would
list-
I just don't want to do that. Like, I don't want to put my life at unnecessary risk. Like, even if it's for fun or for the thrill or if it's pretty
It's not
safe, like
unnecessary per se.
you're
I
what?
would do it, 100%.
What? Climbing Everest?
Yeah, anything that involves a risk, I would do it.
I
I would
wouldn't
climb
do it.
Everest.
I would
Do you want
it.
to? Do you want to
Dude,
climb Everest?
I would do it, 100%.
We're gonna start training and we're gonna climb Mount Everest.
On my
I would like
bucket
to do
list-
Kilimanjaro at some point too.
I saw a video that inspired me to do this sometime in my life. It is swimming from Alcatraz to San Francisco Bay. And, because you know the three prisoners
Yeah,
that
yeah,
escaped from Alcatraz.
You've played too much Mob of the Dead.
I went to Alcatraz.
I know.
So it was super cool to actually get that backstory. Mob of the Dead is actually like one of my least favorite zombie maps.
Really?
Fun fact. I don't.
It's a
Save it
decent
for the
map, but I
zombies
didn't play too
episode.
much either.
So, anyways,
Are they still alive? Or are they dead?
100%.
You think so? You think they made it?
definitely Yeah,
Ooh,
easily.
I don't know.
They might.
You got to think about this. Okay, hold on.
You tell me they made it all the way.
No.
I gotta veto the conversation, gentlemen.
No. You got to think about this, okay? They were so excited to get out of that. When they started swimming, they were like, we are almost free. They were pushing themselves.
I bet, yeah.
And this video that I watched on YouTube was two people nowadays just doing it because they wanted to do it, and they made it same temperature, same everything.
Yeah.
Imagine the dopamine that I'm talking
Yeah.
about
Freedom.
dopamine because I know, but
Yeah.
a freedom.
Yeah.
They made
Yeah.
it.
Oh,
100%.
they probably did.
I don't care what anyone says. They made it.
They-
Anyways, I want
Okay.
to swim from Alcatraz to San Francisco.
That's cool.
In like 50-degree.
How many
water.
miles is it?
1.5.
That's actually considerably not that bad.
It
I mean,
takes
it's
about
pretty
an
a mile
hour
and a half.
I mean,
That's
it
it?
takes a lot
Yeah.
of time, yeah, but it's not like 5 or 10 miles or anything like that.
No, but it's hard.
Yeah, I know. Ask Dad. He's swim a
Hard.
mile every year at the
And
Boy
he didn't
Scout thing.
swim it in freezing cold water.
Oh yeah, that'd be the hardest part is fighting hypothermia.
And
Well,
the
if
waves,
you
too.
have
Like during a storm, yeah.
if you have an insulated wetsuit, it gets a little easier.
A little easier. You are
But
they
not a
didn't
lot.
have that, but
The
it's
prisoners
granted.
didn't have that though.
That's true, but it doesn't help that much.
It's probably better than
Anywho.
running out there naked. I'll tell you that.
They
So
weren't
VR. So VR, guys.
I don't know where we're going with this.
Do we have any closing thoughts on VR? Because
Do
it
you guys
seems
know
like
that
we've.
monkey game in VR? Where it's like tag. You start as like a blue monkey, and there's red monkeys chasing you, and you're like jumping on trees and stuff.
That sounds fun.
There-
No.
If I showed you a clip, you guys would 100% know what I'm talking about. But I've seen clips on YouTube and TikTok where there's like Yoda and they're fighting and they're using lightsabers and VR's cool.
What
That's
the
all I
heck?
gotta say. 50 diamonds out of 64 diamonds.
Oh,
Minecraft.
the
50
last
out of
the last
64
closing
diamonds?
thought I have is, what is it called? I'm trying to think. It's a like a
Haptic
it's
feedback,
VR chat.
AR.
It's
What?
VR chat, and then they're like what do they say? They're like, spit on him, spit on him. Remember that? What's that meme? Do you know the
I got
way?
nothing.
Oh, I know.
You're talking about Uganda Knuckles.
Yeah, that's what it
Isn't it
is.
just VR chat?
Yeah,
I don't
just
know.
VR chat. That's what I said.
Yeah. I thought you were looking for a
Don't
name.
play it. Don't play it. Don't play it. Just don't play it. If just don't.
We could have got into the whole metaverse stuff. but I didn't
Everybody
wanna go there.
dresses up in
Metaverse-
anime costumes. They're all men. Don't do it.
Wow. All right, that's a statement to end on. My final thoughts on VR. I think the most effective way to utilize VR, not only for gaming but in a general market sense, is going to be mixed reality. You got to be able to combine VR with AR. You can send people on some really cool like treasure hunts or like scavenger hunts. You know, if you have like the code embedded into the headset and they're looking for something and there's like a queue you have to do, like you could make it like, you know how like in Harry Potter, the first movie, have you guys seen Harry Potter Sorcerer's Stone?
Yeah.
No.
Wow. Well, that's topic for later.
Wait. Hey, Luke, did you watch the Indiana Jones movies?
Not yet, no.
Yeah, I don't wanna
Besides
hear
the
it.
point, we all have our faults, Josh. Anyway, so Hagrid, he taps a certain number of bricks and it gets the brick wall to open up. You could do something like that with like augmented reality on a regular city street.
That'd be cool.
And,
like having an
like,
escape room.
Yeah.
Or like
and
a
you could have
geocaching.
animations layered over top of it. So like in physically, it's just like opening. But through your headset, you could see each of the bricks peeling back.
And then you
And
walk
it
up
would-
to it and you just smack your head in the wall because
Well,
there's.
maybe that happens too. It's a glitch, bro. Don't worry about it. It's a visual
All
glitch.
right.
Well,
Anywho,
That's all I gotta say.
mixed reality,
you,
I think, is
everyone.
the future. That's the way to go. I think it's going to be the most profitable, and I think it's going to be the most useful. So
Yeah.
that wraps up episode 26 of the Gaming Goons podcast. VR, finally, after 26 episodes of having it in
Yep.
our bio and not talking about it, we finally got to VR. So we appreciate you guys. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. We appreciate every minute that you spend listening to us, and we hope to see you in the next one where we're going to talk about Rainbow Six Siege. So if you're excited for Tom Clancy games, we're finally getting there. We're moving along, and we'll see you guys next time.
later, goons.
See you.